You're listening to the Today's Family Lawyer podcast, the leading source of daily news and insight for family law practitioners in England and Wales. Sign up to our free weekly newsletter at todaysfamilylawyer.co.uk and subscribe to hear all the latest news and views from across the family law sector. You can also follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter.
Hello and welcome along to the latest Today's Family Lawyer podcast. Today I'm delighted to welcome Simon McCrum to the discussion. Simon's probably quite well known to a number of you, author of The Perfect Legal Business, now The Perfect Lawyer, regular speaker on the legal circuit and pretty active management consultant as well. There's not an awful lot, Simon, that you don't know about running a law firm, having been there, done that and got the t-shirt.
Yeah, that's really nice. Great to be here, firstly, David. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I can hardly get my coat on. I've got so many T-shirts. And as I said in a recent LinkedIn post, a lot of those T-shirts were very welcome and some of them were extremely unwelcome. It all adds up to a mountain of experience of law firms and the legal sector.
Well, you describe yourself as having run the fastest growing law firm in the country, which was Derby's at the time. Tell us a bit about yourself, Simon. What's your background? Where did you start in the law and how did you get to where you are today?
Okay, so I am a solicitor. I still retain my practicing certificate. I qualified a long time ago in 1990 at a magnificent law firm, full service law firm in Manchester called Pannoni. I did the trainee route of 4 seats, then I qualified into commercial litigation. But very quickly I became interested in something else, and this is as a newly qualified solicitor. I became interested in the business of law, and over time, particularly under the leadership of a magnificent managing partner called Joy Kingsley, I was allowed to move away from chargeable hours and fee generation into what I was showing an aptitude for, which was business development. And then there was a kind of sliding scale where my fees target went down and my freedom to roam, as it were, or drink, increased, because that was what business development was kind of felt to be at the time. And the more I did of it, which is a lesson I've never forgot, the more I did of it, the better I got and the better the BD results were. And in the end, I became an equity partner, a non-fee earning equity partner, which was pretty unique. It was amazing for the law firm and the Joy to do that. I over-delivered, I think, in terms of results, and it's kind of opened my eyes to the marriage that a good law firm is between multiple skills, not just fee-earning work. So that's what I've done. As part of that journey, I became team leader of a small team, then a big team, then another team, then multiple teams, and I made the usual round of bad mistakes and had the usual round of good successes. I put all of that together, and then I got the opportunity to become managing partner at another already established top 200 law firm, and I went into Derby's as an equity partner, managing partner, which was an incredible decision by those equity partners to bring in an outsider to do that. And then multiple phases of my education kicked in there. So I've had a heck of a journey on the way. The Pannoni's journey was growth, success, kind of trauma free. Then the trauma kicked in at Derby's because it was the week that the credit crunch started. I personally wasn't ready for that role in a firm of that size at that time. But as you would, as I do, as we all do, you kind of change up to gears you didn't know you had. Very nearly lost everything. Some interest rates were high, I know they're heading back that way, but interest rates were high, and it was some conveyancing interest earned on client deposits that saved us, and we turned it around. That was a lesson in itself, how to turn around a business that's struggling, and then we grew. And I didn't know that would be another university course, but in the University of Business Life. But crikey, the growth journey was what nearly did us in. Really, not the no cash journey, growth. And that's where I learned all about growth being able to kill you. So that's the journey. And I put all of that together now. I concentrate on the positives for law firms, the growth, the journey, hone the destiny, but I remove the dangers. Because as soon as you start growing, the dangers are amplified, usually in the form of cash. And my two books that so far, The Perfect Legal Business and The Perfect Lawyer, are all about growing, but safely. I know you've read them and loved them, David. I hope you'll agree. It's a confessional, really. It really helped me to get everything off my chest.
I really like that idea, because I was going to ask you what drove you to write the book, but I know that you're particularly proud of the very dog-eared versions that are often posted on LinkedIn with post-its in all sorts of different places, reminding people of where you've written something that's particularly pertinent to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I deliberately don't do an e-version or a Kindle version of the book. I want people to hold it. If I'd had that book, by goodness, I'd be a wealthy man now. If I'd had that book when I set off as the managing partner of a law firm, I would have done what managing partners, and I mean high street firms, I mean top 100 firms. I have got managing partners carrying my book around their world with them, on holiday, around their global offices. They just tell me, I never put this book, I never stop reading bits of your book on the plane, in the airport, on the train.
Well, to give us a short synopsis then, you've The Perfect Legal Business. We have done a podcast on this previously, and I'll link to it in the write-up. But what are the key things people need to know about The Perfect Legal Business?
The first thing I would say, I do it all the time with, I start with the managing partner, but then the equity partners and the other directors, then the team leaders, and I just say to them, if I asked you what would make this business, because it is a business, what would make this business successful quickly? They know it. Everyone knows the answers. I haven't got any rocket science. Everyone knows the answers. Then I add an overlay, because we're not here to be successful quickly and fleetingly. So the next question I pose is, if I asked you what would make this business successful sustainably, and that softens the otherwise hard business answer that you might have given, because that's all about looking after clients, looking after your people. Everyone knows that. Everyone, and they come up with the very things that are in my book. And what I then do, David, is I try and give people the courage to stick to those things. And that's where law firms come off the rails, because they haven't always got the courage to stick to the things we all know are the obvious. And instead, we get run ragged. There's 1,000 businesses out there trying to use us to help their business, not to help your business. And we have to have the courage to say no. And all too often, it's not a word we use enough. And law firm leaders and team leaders need to focus on the essentials. And the whole purpose of my two books was just to say, these are the priorities. I call it the needle on the record. If the needle is scratched, there's no point buying new speakers. There's no point buying a new graphic equalizer if you're old enough to know what one of those is. We stick to these things. So I was with a law firm only yesterday, and they were saying, yeah, but how can we grow? And I've said, well, look, our conversion rate is 5%. Yeah, but how can we, what new markets? No, our conversion rate is 5%. What's happening to the other 95% that are bouncing off us? Some of them are going to be completely poor, non-valuable inquiries, but I bet let's go there first. Let's look at the basics and then drill into that, because that's money for nothing. You've already got the marketing spend. I can see why. I mean, I said to this firm yesterday, I've looked at your website. I can't see why I should use you. There's absolutely no reason there. You give me no reason to prefer you. You actually give me no reason to prefer you, other than you're the cheapest. If you're gonna have to win me on price. Now, and what I try and do is get lawyers and law firms and team leaders to show, actually to articulate. They already know why, but you can engineer new differentiators and strengthen existing differentiators, and then empower and train and enable everyone in the firm to deliver on the differentiators, to use them in the marketing, to use them in the conversion calls, and to use them in the pricing discussions. Bentley service, Bentley lawyers, it's a Bentley price. This is basic things. People look, if you're looking, come into my book looking for algorithms and artificial intelligence, things like that, it's not there. You don't need it.
Are we not all chasing the same differentiators though, Simon?
Absolutely. Come on, David, if you and I kick this around now, what are the differentiators in a law firm? We're the worst. Okay, that's a heck of a differentiator. We're the cheapest. That'll win you a lot of work. If you want to convert every call that comes in, just charge £1. You'll convert everything. Actually, you might not, because I would be very suspicious of that. So what are the differentiators? The differentiators, the real good ones are, we are the best. We are the best. So if you are truly the best lawyer in a particular niche area of work, that should be a very impactful differentiator.
Mm-hmm.
We're highly ranked, we're top tier, that kind of thing. Okay, that works. To me, clients think we're all good. It's not the panacea differentiator. Everyone who comes to a law firm has pretty much used a law firm before. That gives you the differentiator we should, in my view, be focusing on, and that is what your experience with us will be like. Because pretty much the experience is horrific. I don't know if you've used lawyers. I have used lawyers countless times. I deliberately use lawyers, and I deliberately use different lawyers because it informs what I do, and it is not getting any better. It is woeful in many cases. Not everywhere, but woeful in many cases. I still haven't got a go-to law firm. Just haven't got one. No one has shown me that the firm cares enough about their clients that everybody in that firm will treat me in a certain way, whichever team they are in. Just never seen it. Never seen anything like it. Oh, except one firm, my own firm. And as you'll see in the book, this is the bit we got right. A great service, every lawyer, every time. A great service, every lawyer, every time. That was everywhere. It was all over our office. If you didn't deliver on that, it wasn't the right place for you. So if you didn't return calls, it wasn't the right place for you, to put it mildly. What we didn't do was charge the right price for that Bentley service. We charged a Ford price for a Bentley service, and that was a huge mistake of on my and our part. So to me, the differentiator is what your experience will be like. Now, it's all over every law firm's website. No one says come to us, it'll be an absolutely chronic service. What they say is everything we do is built around you. Everything we are here. We are service oriented. No, you're not. No, you're not. What's going to happen when that lawyer's on holiday? Please tell me, how is my file going to carry on when that lawyer's got building up to a massive trial? And what's going to happen there? My file goes on stop, is what happens. But not if you get it right. And that's the ultimate differentiator is service. But the ultimate challenge is living that.
Let me ask you a slightly nuanced question then. Do law firms really consider themselves to be a business?
Law firms do. I tell you, the person or persons in the hot seat do, because actually what running a law firm isn't a very glamorous job. All you do pretty much is count money in every day and money out every day, and you have on your radar every waking hour, and there you have an extended number of waking hours. Every waking hour you are kind of looking ahead to the 28th of the month, and what you're waiting for is payday, when literally, even in small law firms, hundreds of thousands of pounds, very quickly millions of pounds, go out on the 28th. That defines a law firm. So if you have got your eye on that particular moment coming over then you know this is a business that is all about cash, and then before that, preceding that, profits. But they're separate things. The most acute business dimension that a lot of lawyers carry, including at team leader level, is we are a business. It's all about billing. That kind of ticks the business box, but it's not about billing. Billing kills you until the bills are paid. And actually, what's the bill for? Is it profitable? Is that client profitable? So there's a lot more to running a business, and what I try and get is lawyers. I love the legal sector. I don't believe that the public know how passionate lawyers are about changing clients' lives. This isn't a job for hundreds of thousands of lawyers. This is a passion. It is a calling. It is a matter of pride. I advocate dual pride. What we are doing for clients, but that's not going to last long if we don't have a pride in what we do for the business. There has to be dual pride, and I'm not yet feeling that there's the secondary pride is up there. You get, yes, some lawyers walk around going, I've had a good billing month, I hit my billing target. That's not the kind of collective business pride we need. I think lawyers ought to celebrate as a team year, a team, not we've hit our billing target, but actually our profitability and our cash profile is such that we are truly a successful business, as well as being top ranked in chambers and having some amazing results for our clients, etc. There's dual prides.
So drilling into that then, your next book, The Perfect Lawyer, talks about what makes the perfect individual lawyer. Tell us some of the key takeaways from that one then, Simon. Do we train the perfect lawyer? Are they naturally gifted? Is it nature? Is it nurture?
Just to clarify, my first book was The Perfect Legal Business. I published my second book, The Perfect Lawyer. Interestingly, the third and final one, because I'm doing a trilogy, and the third and final one is The Perfect Partner. I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying writing that. But let me go back to your question and the perfect lawyer. The perfect lawyer is nurtured. It's not nature. Nature generates lawyers who are proud in what they do for clients, lawyers who are proud of their knowledge of law. You have to nurture one who has the dual pride, the pride in business, the one who can say no, because whilst that case might be interesting, or whilst that's a really interesting point, we could argue, actually, it doesn't help me deliver on my other source of pride, which is my responsibilities to the business. In a law firm, everyone's got a boss. I say everyone, the managing partner's got a boss. The boss is the business. A business, by definition, is demanding, and it's demanding of profit and particularly cash. And the natural lawyers don't get that automatically, and that's where I think the nurturing comes in. So if I said to a lot of lawyers, what's the perfect lawyer, they would focus on what the perfect lawyer was from the client's perspective. Yes, someone who fights my corner, someone who will work all night on my case, someone who knows the law inside. To the client, that is the perfect lawyer. Someone who I never have to chase, someone who chases me. That's why my second book is divided into two parts. That's all well, that is really a significant part of what makes the perfect lawyer. But actually, the perfect lawyer is in a team called a business, and therefore there are financial pressures and demands that you need to deliver on as well. So the perfect lawyer, if you're the managing partner trying to give everyone a great life and opportunities and career progression, because let's face it, the perfect legal business promotes everyone who deserves to be promoted. The perfect legal business wants to make everyone in the firm rich. But it can only do that if, as well as changing clients' lives, the lawyers are making money for the business as well. So the short answer is, if you think the business aspect will just come, it doesn't. It doesn't. And one of the reasons it doesn't is because lawyers are so utterly dedicated to what they're doing for their clients. There has to be a constant nurturing.
I've written down on my notes here, Simon, individualistic, which I think would describe an awful lot of lawyers, wouldn't it? That the idea that they have their own billing targets, that, as you say, they have to be the best at what they're good at. How do you get them to see the bigger picture?
Yeah. Okay, we are all individuals. As lawyers, we are not only that, we are strong individuals. We are argumentative individuals. I know I am. We're all those things, and now we're being asked, if by this chap Simon McCrum, we're now being asked to do things. I won't tell you. I've only ever had one negative comment on the many tens of thousands of comment and posts and comments there've been about my books on LinkedIn, and it came from a New Zealand lawyer, as it wouldn't it? And he gave me a one-word feedback on which I'm not going to say here. Apart from that, all the feedback's been amazing. And the point when this chap elaborated was, we're all individuals. There is no perfect lawyer. I disagree profoundly with that. If you have a group of individuals all doing things their way, you end up with the kind of law firms that there have been too many of, where their service is sporadic, their legal knowledge is amazing, their service delivery is sporadic, and their profit and cash positions are challenged. To get everything humming with that sweet, silent low hum of success, there needs to be a burying of the individuals. You can be your own individual. We can be our own stylistic lawyers. We can have our own way of getting the client from A to B. That's honed in the battlefield. You want that, but there must be some rules that are consistent to everyone, whoever you are, David, whoever you are. On the business side, on the legal side, there can be mavericks. On the business side, I don't believe there can be mavericks, because you delivering your expertise and not giving a hoot about whether it makes any money, you're actually letting down the youngsters in the general office. You're actually letting down the young lawyers that want opportunities to grow and become team leaders. You're actually letting down your partners. It's a team effort. Everyone, whether you're the goalkeeper, the winger, everyone has to play to a plan. Otherwise, the manager might as well leave. You're not going to win. So individual, there's some space for it, but not everywhere.
I've asked this of a few people recently, and I'm interested in your thoughts. It's a bit of a left field question, Simon, but the current model of the legal business, the equity partner model, and you've talked about the fact that you entered your firms as equity partner. Does that lend itself to successful business? Because it often ends up being decision by majority,
Yep.
in which case people get left out, or indecision by majority, as in there simply isn't a decision because people can't make a decision.
Yes, paralysis ensures that you are only going in one direction. Decision-making paralysis is guaranteed to lay you low in coming years, I believe. You talk about equity partnership. Let's just talk about committee. That's just a committee. It's slightly different to the kind of committee you might see in your local town or something, because here are people with a real stake in ownership and an ability to argue over absolutely anything and to hold strong opinions. So the kind of law firms I work with and I work really effective with are the ones that look at what I offer when it's tailored to their scenario and their business, and then say, yes, when can we start? Bang, bang, bang. It's utterly amazing what can happen and quickly. And I'm not talking about one-man band. I'm talking big law firms, and their results, believe me, speak for themselves. The type of law firms I literally cannot work with and don't are those that want me to, and this is just an example of what you're talking about, is those that want me to go back again and again and again to just talk through what we do. And to them, and I said it to one very large firm recently that wanted me back for a 5th meeting, I just said it's not going to work. This doesn't work, because the kind of decisions we're going to be making are rapid and big. And if this is the decision making you have to go through, it's not going to happen. And I can't work for. So it needs equity partners to do an extremely brave thing, like the equity partners that invited me in to be their managing partner. What an incredible thing. And I didn't know about this till after I'd arrived, and they'd had multiple discussions where they'd had the honesty to say, well, look, we're all good lawyers, but actually running a business is a different thing, and I for one can't do it. And someone else said, nor can I. Well, let's look outside. And the discussion I'm coming to is this. One of the managing partners said, if we're going to do this, We need to give this person power, not paper clips. We can't argue. We can't be a committee. And that's what's needed. And lo and behold, we turned the corner. We became the UK's fastest growing business by making decisions. Equity partnership can kill a law firm.
You mentioned you're writing your third book, The Perfect Partner. There's a pattern emerging here, Simon. How is that shaping up? What can we expect from the advice therein?
Yeah,
without giving away too many spoilers.
Yeah, well, I honestly, anyone who knows me knows that I do things properly. I dig deep and I think deep. So when I don't sit down and this stuff just trots out, I sit down. It's really challenging me. I'm writing it at the moment. It's really challenging me, and it's actually making my blood run cold at some moments. Because let's think about it. What makes the perfect partner? If you ask some partners, they say they've got to know their law, their area of law inside out. Well, you ask the managing partner of a law firm, what makes your perfect? And I'm doing this. I've got this whole series of interviews. I've got slots. Everyone's got an hour. I went on LinkedIn. I invited, and oh my goodness, are people keen to unload on utterly confidentially, I must add, unload. And if the business to the real boss, the business, what's the perfect partner? Well, actually, the perfect partner could well be the most amazing technical lawyer, because law, that's what we sell. But if everyone was that, then that might not be enough. And if that perfect partner also built nothing and also bullied all the staff so that all the young lawyers under them leave, well, now they're not the perfect partner anymore, are they? The perfect partner. Was I the perfect partner? I was hopeless at law, hopeless at time recording. I had another skill. I brought in many, many millions of pounds worth of business. Now, to the boss, the business, wow, that really is one guise of the perfect partner. So what we're coming to is there's multiple views on what makes the perfect partner, and actually the perfect legal business has different perfect partners within it. But at the end of the day, if you ask me to, and when I come to write my conclusion of this book, I feel sure, because I've felt it my whole legal career, the perfect partner, it's actually a question of moral fiber. Are they good people? Because are they making young people great? Are they nice to the semi-retired gentleman in accounts, or the lady who's worked here for 25 years? To me, if you're not that, then none of the other stuff washes. I'm on a crusade in my work with law firms, my work in public, when I do my speaking, my work in my books. I'm on a crusade. I think lawyers get a bad press. You just have to see, multimillionaire lawyer X, blah, blah, blah. We're not multimillionaires. It's seriously hard work. We get a bad press. A lot of the time, lawyers, individual lawyers in law firms aren't proud as they want to be of the work they are doing, and that's because they can't do it properly, and that's because the business is flawed, and therefore they are deluged with files, and therefore they can't return calls and spend an hour on a file. Instead, they're going to snatch 5 minutes. I'm on a crusade to make that bit better. I'm on a crusade to let people know that lawyers, we are desperate to change clients' lives. That's why we do this. And I'm on another crusade, which is to make sure the people that are doing this make enough money and get enough opportunities. And that's why the business dimension is so important. Otherwise, we are going to be manically busy until the moment comes to retire, and then we'll look back and go, what happened there? Actually, we can all do things far more controlled. It'll produce far more reward for us all, and I mean hard and soft reward, far more personal development, and will change client lives even more. So I'm just on this crusade, and if I could sum everything in my books, my speaking, my work, everything, I think it's we should all in the legal profession be doing less better.
There'll be a lot of practitioners listening, and I'm thinking of conveyancers who are running 60, 80, 100 files, Simon, or will writers and will and probate practitioners who have got similar sort of case volumes, who will be crying for joy with the thought of doing less better, it's a really difficult balance, isn't it, ultimately, between the needs of the business, the needs of the individual, the cash, business development. As you say, it's such a big beast. And I'm not completely convinced that we're going to do it justice on a half an hour podcast. So I would implore it, and you're right, I've read the books. I think they're fantastic. I'd implore anybody to have a read of the books. Where can they get them from?
It's at my website. McCrum.legal is the website. They're both there.
Fabulous. Thanks very much indeed, Simon. It's been fantastic to have you on. Your passion has come across in spades. It's been wonderful to hear you talk about the books and hear you talk about your work, Simon. Thank you so much for joining the podcast.
My pleasure.
The Today's Family Lawyer podcast is available on your preferred podcast provider. It's also available on todaysfamilylawyer.co.uk. My thanks to Simon. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again soon.
You're listening to the Today's Family Lawyer podcast, the leading source of daily news and insight for family law practitioners in England and Wales. Sign up to our free weekly newsletter at todaysfamilylawyer.co.uk and subscribe to hear all the latest news and views from across the family law sector. You can also follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter.